Hello and welcome to another video. There was a video before this one and there will be another one after it. Today, I'm revealing a secret that I've been keeping for the past 3 months or so. I was gonna keep this secret for longer, but something fell out of me and I have to take accountability for the thing that I've created. Let me introduce you to the baby daddy. Yeah, this is a guitar. I picked this up on September 9th, 2025, and I've been playing it every day since then. This is my first time actually learning how to play guitar. I've tried a few times in the past, but it never worked out. And this time, somehow I've made a commitment. So it turns out you can just kind of like learn new things at any point in your life, like as long as you're alive. You can like learn things. Isn't that crazy? So I learned this. Now why? Why did I pick guitar? Why have I been doing this? Well, guitar is a diverse instrument. There's lots of different things you can do with it, lots of different sounds you can get. There's also different types of guitar that I might explore in the future. It's also fairly cheap in terms of entry. I spent $90 on this, and then I think $20 on some strings, and that's it. I've had it ever since then, and it's small enough to fit into my lifestyle. So it fits in the back of my car, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and I can play it anywhere. I can come to the park where I always come every day anyway and play it here. I can play it in the back of my car. I can even open the window and stick the neck out and play it in my driver's seat. Not while I'm driving, of course. The other thing is that music has become a little more important to me lately, in the sense that I've recognized its expressive and meditative abilities, and I've been listening to more music. I've always enjoyed listening to music. I've always enjoyed listening to lots of diverse types of music, but I figured why not start making it? Self-expression through music is a lot simpler and a lot easier once you get going than visual art, which is what I've been doing my whole life. I do love doing visual art. I do love making visual art or art of any kind. And now I've expanded into being able to make musical art as well. So it just sort of suits me. With music, you can really get into a flow state, whereas with drawing, it's a little bit harder to get into that flow state. People are also nicer to a guy with a guitar. I think it's going to open up some social opportunities for me, where I can maybe start hanging out with other people, start jamming with people, potentially even join a band at some point. Who knows? The thing is, this opens up a lot of opportunities. I can make all kinds of different music with a guitar or with a collection of guitars if I have that eventually. I can play different genres. I can get a capo, put it on here, change the key, and play all kinds of different songs. I can learn songs. I can create my own. I could join a band. I could make soundtracks for video games, or, I mean, worst case scenario, since my car is sort of nearing the end of its life, and if I don't have anywhere else to live, worst case scenario, I can take this and sit on the street in New York City or anywhere and just play with a cup next to me and get some money that way. I didn't pick this up specifically to make money off of it. I picked this up to have fun and to learn a new skill. I kept it a secret specifically because I wanted to see how far I could get without people that are close to me knowing. What I realized is that my entire life, every time I've tried to learn something new or do something kind of big or interesting or out of my comfort zone, I've always sought external validation, particularly from my friends. And oftentimes they just kind of don't care that much. They're like, good job, great work, and I don't end up getting the validation that I'm seeking. So I wanted to see if I could strengthen my internal validation skills and learn something in secret with myself as my only cheerleader. And And that's what I've done. It worked. Oh, great. The children that I came over here to get away from are coming this direction. Yeah. So how did I do this? So let's talk about the thing that fell out of me. I made an album. It's not really much of anything. It's just basically a bunch of acoustic, ambient, sort of background music type stuff. But it's 30 minutes long, it's 10 tracks, and it's an album. I even made cover art for it. Originally, I was going to make a soundtrack for a video project that I was going to post on this channel. I was just going to covertly sort of make some guitar music and put it in the background of that video and not tell anybody that I made the music, and just sort of, you know, practice implementing this into the things that I'm already doing. And then I sort of realized that the music I made was too good for the video that I made, and I was like, I need to just make this into an album. So that's what I did. So I basically sat in the back of my car. I recorded all of the songs in one day and edited them over the course of the rest of that day and then the next day. And I basically just sort of noodled around for some ideas. I use the circle of fifths a little bit, but I don't really have great music theory chops yet. But I just noodled around for ideas, and then I hit record, and I would improv over that vibe that I'd created for about a minute to up to almost 7 minutes is the longest track. And I gave every track a name, and I put them in an order that sort of felt like it was paced well and had a narrative to it. And then I edited just a few things. Really, pretty much all of the tracks are just a continuous take with very little editing other than like EQ and compression, and maybe some echo and reverb on some of the songs. And that's it. It's all one guitar, all just me. I got a bunch of different sounds out of the guitar by doing different things, you know, like strumming up here instead of down here, which is a different sound. Or I used this guitar pick that I made out of a feather for a sort of like a fingernail type of sound. Yeah, I have guitar picks, but this is nice. It literally is like a fingernail. I love the sound of it. For one of the tracks, I did this. So, I'm working with some limitations here. All I have is this cheap guitar. I got decent strings for it. They're Eddie Hall strings. But like the fretboard's not even oiled. It's a what's it called? Rock Jam. It sounds like a brand for children or something. That's what I got. The cheapest guitar I could find. And I just got all these different sounds out of it by playing with it, basically. So how did I learn guitar at the age of 28? How did I succeed at learning guitar well enough to make a whole album in less than 3 months after failing to learn instruments my entire life? What is different about this time that allowed me to actually commit to this and succeed? Well, first of all, I kept it a secret, and so I wasn't getting that, external validation from other people that was putting pressure on me to be good and improve really quickly, or to impress the people around me. Secondly, I didn't promise myself anything big. I didn't promise myself that I was going to make an album. I didn't promise myself I was going to learn a certain number of songs or learn a certain number of things or, advance in music theory at a certain pace. I didn't promise myself I would practice for a certain number of hours every day or every week or anything like that. I didn't promise myself that I would do drills. I hate doing drills. I really don't do drills very much. All I promised myself is that I would touch this guitar every day. Not play it, just touch it. And so far, I have played it every single day since I picked it up. Now, the cool thing about an instrument is that when you touch it, it makes noise. And so every time I would touch this guitar, it would make sounds. It responded to me, and that made me want to pick it up and play it. And so after achieving my goal of touching the guitar, playing it seemed like a fun little extra and a great achievement because I've already achieved my goal for the day, which is to touch the guitar. And so everything after that is a bonus, and it makes me feel even more accomplished. It's sort of a weird mental trick, but it worked. It legitimately worked. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I live in my car, I'm homeless, I don't have a job, but I have a lot of money. So I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to, buy a lot of stuff for this or buy an expensive guitar or equipment for it. I don't even have a capo still. When my high E string that came with the guitar broke, I just played it with 5 strings for about 2 weeks until I was able to afford new strings. So I had some limitations when I was learning and learning how to play this. And I had to accept those limitations and work with them. Part of that is, when I sat down to make the album, I wanted to get some different sounds out of this guitar because I don't have another guitar to get different sounds out of. I don't have an electric to put, effects on or anything like that. So I explored my different options for making this guitar sound different, including the foam thing, including strumming here, including using this versus my hand. Now, being restricted gave me a sense of direction and discovery. So the other times that I tried to learn instruments or tried to learn music, I was given way too many tools right at the start. Now, for some people, that's great. For me, it gave me too much freedom and it gave me decision paralysis. It made me feel like, I have all these tools, I need to use all of them to make this song. And that led to a lot of like decision paralysis and a lot of like overwhelm. So having heavy restrictions on my ability to make music actually allowed me to make music a lot easier and to commit to this, because it wasn't an overwhelming thing. It's like, if I don't come up with any new ideas today, that's okay, because all I have is one guitar. How much can you really do with one guitar? As it turns out, you can do a lot. You can do a lot with one guitar. So by restricting myself and expanding my capabilities within those restrictions, it was actually like strength training, right? It was like before I had the ability to fly, but I didn't know where to go. And now I can only walk, but I'm enjoying the process a lot more and seeing a lot more things. What I noticed when I was making the album, and also just in general for me, is that the best things that I make in terms of creativity and art are things that just emerge spontaneously from me relaxing, getting into a flow state, not thinking too hard. And it's really easy to do that with music. It's really easy to do that with an instrument, with a physical object in your hands that you can just sort of meditate with. And after I recorded all the tracks, I noticed that there were some things that sort of emerged from them. There was a bit of a narrative flow. Once I had put them in a certain order, it kind of tells a story or takes you on an emotional journey. There's repeated motifs. There's things that reoccur throughout the different songs. And there's even like, I think, some harmonics in the final track that came out that I have no idea how I did that. I'll show you what I did. Went from A to A sus to B, whatever this B is. I don't know. Does anybody know the name of this B chord? I think it's a B. Again, my music theory kind of sucks. But as I was strumming these, I didn't notice it while I was recording it, but in the recording you can hear some really high-pitched harmonics showing up. And I don't know what that is. I don't know how it happened, but it's beautiful and it's there, and it just happened on accident. And this is how I personally create the best things that I make. All of the best things that I've made kind of happened like that, where there's just a bunch of accidents that just come together and make something really interesting and cool. Music is absolutely fantastic for that. So I had to cater my learning style to my personality, my style in general. And so knowing that, the best things that I make tend to be spontaneous and emergent, what I did for a guitar is I just lowered my expectations. And I stopped trying to think of ideas and instead just started to try to get them to come out of me, if that makes sense. So all the equipment I used is this guitar, my phone for recording, a recording app, and a janky audio editing app that was glitching all the time, and every time I saved a file I'd have to restart my whole phone to get it to show up in my files so that I could edit it into other things. It was a process, but I did it. And also my sound booth, which looks like this. Lovely, right? So why am I making a video about this? Well, first of all, it's to let you know that there's an album. It's going to be free on YouTube, and I'm also probably going to upload it on Bandcamp and set like a pay what you want type thing if you'd like to support my efforts. It's not exactly the most professional album ever produced, but if you want to throw me $1 or $2 in exchange for it, I would appreciate it. I also just want to show people kind of what's possible, right? This is something that I did not think was possible for me. I did not think that I was capable of making music at all. I tried so many times and failed so many times. And, I gave up so many times. But things just have a way of working out sometimes. And I think changing my approach really, really helped with this. This has taught me how to approach learning new things in general and to be very, very quickly successful with them. And ironically, it really just came down to reducing the amount of pressure that I put on myself and doing things spontaneously, getting into a flow state, not regimenting my training. I didn't pay for any lessons. All I've really looked at is stuff on YouTube and on the internet in general. Basically just played on my own until I figured things out. I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn in terms of music theory. But I'm just amazed that this is possible. And like 3 months ago, I wasn't able to do this. Yeah, that wasn't even possible. That's crazy. It might not look like much, but to me, it's incredible that I wasn't able to do this 3 months ago, and now I can do that. You could do it too, by the way. If you are the type of person, if you're kind of like me, and you're kind of, the best things that you make are always sort of spontaneous, and you really struggle to structure your creativity and your learning of new skills, then try doing it this way. Small promise. Don't do anything massive. Don't make any huge plans. Don't make any huge commitments. Just spend a little bit of money to get started if you need to. And make a small promise to yourself, whether it's touch the instrument if it's an instrument, whether it's set up your workspace if it's some kind of hobby that involves that, whether it's open your sketchbook, whatever it is. A small promise that will basically lead you into wanting to do more. That's how you want to do more. You make the small promise, touch the instrument, it makes noise, and now I want to do more. It's not like I have to do more. I told myself I would do more, or my friends are expecting me to do more because I said I'm learning this new thing. No, it's I want to do more. That's how you turn I have to do more into I want to do more. Set a tiny, tiny little promise, the smallest thing you can really promise to yourself. You don't have to keep your hobbies a secret from your friends, but keep in mind that the external validation that you get from them, if it's never really worked in the past, then it's not going to work this time either. And you might as well just keep it to yourself or try to find new friends that are into the hobby as well. Basically, don't seek the validation of other people, just do it for yourself. Try to find that internal validation. Try to record your progress and look back on how you used to be and remind yourself that whatever you're doing today was not possible yesterday. That's how you get that internal validation that will keep you committed to it. And try to avoid total freedom. This goes along with spending a very small amount of money if it's a hobby or a skill that requires money. Limit yourself, set restrictions, or at the very least accept the limitations that come along inherently with the fact that you're just a beginner and you don't have all of the professional level equipment. And lean into your creativity. Those limitations can help you push your boundaries and discover new things. You can turn mistakes into something interesting. A mistake is an opportunity to go in a different direction. At the very least, when it comes to creative endeavors, mistakes don't really exist. Sometimes when you make a mistake and you have the confidence to flow through it, people will interpret it as if it wasn't a mistake and you did it on purpose. It can add a lot to your creative endeavors, whatever it is. So that's it. I do have another channel for music. It's at Dandelion Guitar or Timeless Interval. If you search Dandelion Guitar, you get a bunch of guitar covers and tutorials for a song called Dandelion. Just search Timeless Interval and it'll show up. It'll also be linked in the description. You can find me also on Instagram and Bandcamp. And maybe eventually I'll expand into other social medias as well, maybe even things like Spotify. So yeah, if you're interested, go check out the album. It's coming out on the 28th, if it's not out already by the time I post this. You can also see some other music that I've made on my guitar channel. You can see me singing badly if you're interested in that. And I'm gonna keep making music, so there's definitely gonna be more to come on that channel. I'm gonna be uploading probably more regularly over there than I do here. But I'm still gonna maintain both. You're still gonna see me making all kinds of videos about all the same topics that I always do. Spirituality, philosophy, that kind of stuff. Except now, I might have a guitar, and I might put some of my own music in the background. Alright, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for checking out my music if you do. If you're not interested, that's fine. It's not for everybody. The album is named after my guitar, by the way. The guitar's name is Dandelion. I didn't give it that name, it just sort of happened. I don't know where it came from. I just was playing it one day. I was like, oh, right, your name is Dandelion. That's right. Why didn't I know that before? So the album is called Dandelion. There's a song in it called Dandelion. And the YouTube channel is at Dandelion Guitar or Timeless Interval. And thank you so much for watching. Good luck with your creative endeavors. I hope that this is, I don't know, inspirational, informative, educational somehow. And have a peaceful day. God damn it! Why does it feel like I'm moving down, but I'm not? Ooh, I just want to get through like 2 bars of this. Okay.